What is the best type of content to repurpose? That's the question that I get asked the most, and I share my answer in this week's podcast episode.
Welcome to the Content 10X Podcast, the show where content creators learn how to harness the power of content repurposing. And now, your host, Amy Woods.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Content 10X Podcast. I'm your host, Amy Woods, and this week I share my perspective on the question that I get asked the most. What is the best type of content to repurpose? I get asked that a lot whenever I do Q&As or podcast interviews, and it's a really funny question because every type of content has its merits and there are so many ways to repurpose. So in a way, there isn't a best type of content for repurposing. Repurposing works regardless of the type of content you are working with. It's more about your strategy and your approach. But if you're asking what type of content has the most potential for repurposing, it's video content, and in fact it's live video. Now I'll come on to why that distinction matters in just a little bit. But do you know that what's more important than the type of content you repurpose is how you do it? The consistency, the quality, the publishing and the promotion. So when deciding the right content for you, you must consider consistency, quality, publishing and promotion. And let's just dig into why. So how do you become consistent with your content? Consistency is key. It's so important. I think there are two factors to consider when it comes to being consistent with your content creation. You need to choose a content format taking into consideration the content your audience consumes, of course, but also the content that you like creating. And it's about finding the sweet spot between the two, and even better if they are identical, because this is going to give you the best chance of staying consistent in terms of quality and quantity. Now, if you're creating content that you love to create, but your audience doesn't consume, that is not going to help you. For example, you are creating podcast episodes because you love to talk, but your audience just don't listen to podcasts. That's not going to be a great situation to be in. Now, likewise, if you're creating content that you don't feel comfortable with, you're never going to keep up, and it'll be one of those if only stories. For example, you commit to creating video content because you know your audience would consume video, but you hate creating video. You don't feel comfortable on camera and it's just not for you. Then that's not going to work in the long run. You'll become inconsistent and it'll just drop off. So it's about finding content that you enjoy creating and your audience enjoys consuming. Now, how do you make sure your content is high quality? Because without quality, your content won't make the grade. So firstly, really do focus on creating high quality content. You must choose a content format that you can ensure a high level of quality with. And then when it comes to repurposing, you do not lose the focus on quality. It seems like such an obvious statement, but I see people put less effort into repurposing their content than they should and producing substandard content as a result. So you need to apply the same standards and principles to your repurposing as you do your original core content. After all, if you are repurposing as a lead into your longer content, you are going to do it a disservice if that repurposed content is low quality. And if you are creating totally separate standalone content that's not promoting your core content, but it's to stand alone in its own right, then don't you want it to be just as good quality for those who consume it? Now I do, I'm sure you do too. Good quality content obviously includes creating content that is right for the platform you are sharing it on. So that includes video and photo dimensions, use of hashtags, design choices, and so much more. So if you want to learn about these essentials, I really recommend grabbing a copy of the Content 10X book because it's got everything you'll need to know about repurposing with quality. So why does publishing matter so much? Publishing should absolutely not be overlooked in your content process. It takes time. For example, once you have edited a video for LinkedIn, you have to work on the copy, the hashtags, the custom thumbnail. The editing work is only part of the process. And it's the same with a platform like YouTube, where you're considering your description, your tags, SEO, cards, thumbnails. Publishing takes time, and when you are deciding what content to create, it's really a key part of that decision. You need to put time to the creation and to the publishing, because you don't want to create awesome content but neglect to set it up for the best possible success when you go and hit that publish button. And what goes into promoting content? So you have to promote your content. People won't just find it, you have to bring people to it. And there are so many approaches to this. So of course, use the platforms you are already on and the communication channels that you have to shout out about your content. And you can research hashtags and tags that if you use them, it could reach people who are interested in your topic that otherwise perhaps don't follow you. You can start and join conversations around the topic of your content on social media. And if you have a budget, you can pay for ads to get more eyes on your content. But the thing that you cannot do is just upload and leave it. You've got to give more than that to your content. So coming back to the first question, when asked what is the best type of content to repurpose, I hope you can see it's not a simple answer. You need to consider consistency, quality, publishing and promotion when deciding what content to create. So what is the right content for you to be creating? But with all things being equal, why is video the best for repurposing? I started this video off by saying that video is the best type of content for repurposing, but let me just explain why. So video is the best for repurposing because it's the most versatile and dynamic content. It's at the top of the content pyramid because from video, you can repurpose more videos, you can repurpose the audio, you can write about the video, you can create graphics, you can write social posts and so on. Now you can't repurpose a graphic into a video or a blog into a podcast, or you can, of course you can, but it's going to be a whole project on its own and it's not quite as simple. Video lets you branch out into the greatest number of content types, and that's why I think it's the best, apart from live stream videos. So why are live stream videos even better? So just a touch better. Now I totally get live streaming isn't for everyone, but if you do live stream and if you set your live stream up with repurposing in mind, you create that closer experience with your audience through the live stream. You give them access to you, it feels more personal and authentic, knowing that you're all focused on the same thing at the same time. And any little tech slips that may happen, that's not a sign of bad quality, that's a sign that it's real life and you're a person just like them. But then from your live stream, not only have you created that connection with your audience and provided them with an experience, but you also have all the content that you would if you just recorded a video on its own, if you'd recorded a pre-recorded video. Now, one note though is that you need to try and segment your live stream if you are going to repurpose it. So create different sections that have a clear purpose and definition with a start and end. Otherwise, if you're jumping from topic to topic, it will be much harder to properly repurpose it. And if you're jumping in and out of audience engagement. So I guess it really the best content for repurposing is the content you and your audience want to see. That could be text posts or it could be Hollywood standard videos. But if you really want me to choose the one type of content that's the best for repurposing, I would choose video content. So that's why our signature service at Content 10x is LinkedIn 10x, where we repurpose one video a week from people who want to become recognized as a thought leader and the leading authority in their industry. So it's designed for people who are comfortable on camera or want to become more comfortable on camera and who know their audience are on LinkedIn and will respond to their great content and then what we create after the original content is produced. And it works because our clients know their preferences and they know their audience's preferences. And we at Content 10x then know how to ensure the quality, consistency, publishing and promotion aspects. So repurposing content doesn't need to be hard, but you need to combine all of those forces together. Thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast episode. I hope you found it really, really useful. Now, if you would like help with your content repurposing, then don't hesitate to get in touch with us here at Content 10x, because we offer a fully end-to-end content repurposing service. Just head to content10x.com. That's content10x.com. And if you prefer a DIY approach and you'd like to learn more about content repurposing in your own time, then why not get a copy of my book, Content 10x, More Content, Less Time, Maximum Results. It really is the ultimate guide to repurposing every type of content, and it's available in paperback, Kindle format, and in audiobook as well. So you can get it on Amazon or just head to content10x.com/book to find out all the places that you can get hold of my book. So all that's left to say is thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast episode, and I will catch you in the next one.